Good. Now, having understood what is grief, the common causes of grief, and of course the myths around the grief, we now go to understand the process of grief, how to cope with grief, and some of the 5 stages of grief. To start with is that grief is a highly individualized procedure or process, and there's no right or wrong way of grieving. But then grief can be influenced by many things, and it can be influenced firstly by your personality. What kind of personality do you have? What are some of your coping skills? What is your faith? Faith is protective when it comes to grief. Also, your experience, or how significant is the loss that you've just had, and your life experiences. All these things can influence how people grieve. It is good to acknowledge that grieving takes time and healing will eventually happen, but it cannot be forced or hurried. It is good to be patient with yourself and let the natural course take unfold, because once you hurry it, you don't hurry your body. How to deal with grief? Of course, number one is to acknowledge your pain. Acknowledge the pain that comes with that loss. Accept that the grief can trigger various kind of emotions, the way we've discussed before. Understand that the grieving process is unique to you. And even if you've lost someone who is common, how the next person grieves is differently from how you grieve. You're supposed to seek out face-to-face support from people who care about you. Support yourself emotionally by supporting yourself physically. What have I said? Support yourself emotionally by supporting yourself physically. Make sure you eat well, you sleep well, you take a shower, you take a walk. Recognize the difference between grief and depression. There are 5 stages of grieving, and these 5 stages were described in 1969 by a psychiatrist called Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who was doing a study amongst people with terminal illness who eventually knew they are going to die. But those 5 stages that she came across eventually became the stages that we rely on when we are talking about the stages of loss and grief. Number 1 is denial, where the first step when you're faced with loss is like, this cannot be happening to me. You're in denial. Then the next stage is anger, where you're like, why me? Why is this happening to me? And you try and look for someone to blame. The next stage is bargaining. You start bargaining with God. Oh God, if you can reverse this. Oh God, if this can happen, I will do this and this. Bargaining stage. Of course, that is followed by depression, where you're too sad to do anything. And the last stage is acceptance, that you are at peace with what happened. I'm reminding you again that grieving is as individual as our lives, so it is unique to each and every person, and it can also be described as a roller coaster. Grief can be a roller coaster. That means that it has ups and downs, and of course the beginning, like many roller coasters, the beginning of the ride tend to be rougher at the beginning, but it keep on easing as we go on. That's the same thing with the grief, that the difficult intense periods, the difficult period become less as time goes by. But even then, even after years of loss, especially during special family events, maybe weddings, birthday of a child, something new happening, you are always there. Sometimes there's some strong sense of grief where you think, I wish dad was here, I wish mom was here, I wish so and so was here to witness whatever is happening. So even after healing has happened, that does not mean you don't get grief. Sometimes you have reminders that get you back to remembering what you lost.